Everybody doing okay tonight, I hope? Our thought for today is the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. That's by Thomas Jefferson. It is approximately 7 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and officially call this meeting to order tonight. I'm going to ask, I do need to make an announcement. We do have 3 people. We do have a quorum tonight. Commissioner Henderson just walked in. And also Commissioner Mason. He's on spring break, but he did dial in tonight, so he is actually in the meeting as well. Thank you. How you doing, Doc? And so I'm going to ask tonight, I'm going to ask Commissioner Sanders if she would lead us in our invocation. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Cowan if he would to lead us in our pledge.
Let's bow our heads. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I thank you so much for this opportunity and this day that we can come together to help your people. You put us in place to protect those and to serve, and we shall do that with open hearts and with open minds, God. Guide us to where we need to be to make sure that we are doing the right thing. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Commissioners, I seek a motion that we adopt the agenda, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason. Commissioner Mason, I think you got yourself on mute. Okay. Commissioner Mason, can you hear me now? All right, it passes 4-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizens' comments. This is an opportunity that will allow citizens to come up and make comments about agenda topics only. Agenda topics only. If you would, please come and state your name and your address for the record, please. Agenda topics only. You may comment this time.
Good afternoon. My name is Thelma Starnall. I live at 3163 Stone Mountain Street. But what I want to talk about is not on the agenda.
We're going to allow you to come back at item number 18. That way you can
I won't be here that long.
That's the way the board is set up. I'm going to ask you to come back at number 18. Yeah, it's going to go fast. It's not a long meeting.
So why is it that I have to wait so long to say what I have to say?
Ms. Thelma, so it's set up for citizen comments, agenda topics only. You can come back on item 18 and you can say whatever you want to say.
Okay, but I told you I wasn't going to be here, so that's okay. You don't have to talk to me tonight, but somebody talk to somebody. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda topics only. Agenda topics only. Thank you. Next, we're going to have the chairman's report. I asked the county attorney to prepare a statement today, and I think it's been a long time coming, but we finally got some information that we think is relevant, and we want to make sure that we get out there tonight. So if you would, please.
Thank you, Chairman Baines. As you all know, there was a forensic audit that was performed approximately 5 years ago. As part of that forensic audit, some of the county's financial records were taken by the FBI as a part of an investigation measure. Last week, the FBI reached out to our county manager and scheduled a time to come drop those files off that they had in their possession. And there has been no indication whatsoever of any findings of any criminal activity. We've been given no information that would think there's going to be any prosecutions or anything coming out of this. So it is our hope that this could bring Commissioner Henderson some relief, because this has been a long time coming and he has asked for this for quite some time. So I am also going to put a letter together for Commissioner Henderson to have that indicates what I've said here in the spoken word, but we have no indications from the FBI or otherwise that this is a matter that they're pursuing. So I'm glad that I could be here to see you and let you know that I'm glad.
Thank you. I know I'm going to do this, but I want Commissioner Henderson to be able to make a comment. So if you would, please, go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you. It's been almost 6 years. I think I said here it's horseshoe with a different set of commissioners, and I was accused of stealing and taking money from this, et cetera. And we knew that it wasn't the case. And all at the same time, my son, John Henderson, he was graded in, he was in a four-wheel accident. And, you know, I just didn't pay it too much attention, but it grew and grew and grew. And it was it went to the district attorney's office for prosecution. It went to the GBI for prosecution. It went to the FBI for prosecution. Then it went to the Attorney General's office for prosecution. And it wasn't anything to it then, and which we knew. And I'm just gonna say this and be through with it. It was a lot of people walked up behind this on this horseshoe and said that I had did something, and they had no clue that I had did anything. And one thing I asked for them, it's in closing, because I'm gonna hold the whole meeting, was I said that if I, J.C. Henderson, had did something, I said I'm no better than nobody else. I said I need to be prosecuted. That's just like everybody else. And so it was nothing to it then and nothing to it now. And so, you know, I prayed then for the folks who wanted ill will on me. They wanted bad things to happen to them, and I hadn't did anything. And I'm still praying for them now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm happy to say that this matter is finally behind you. I'm going to move on now to the county manager's report. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a few things to show you tonight, but I would like to just remind the board, and for the benefit of the public as well, we will be having our budget workshops where all of the constitutional officers and the department heads will be going over their budgets on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. The schedules will be posted, and you'll be receiving the individual schedules as to the time frame as to which department or elected official will be going at what time. And also I wanted to make mention that the Senior Center is scheduled to reopen on Monday the 12th, and there'll be a welcome back celebration for the seniors from 11 to 11:30. Right now we'll be able to have about 50 of our seniors at a time in the Senior Center in order to maintain the social distancing and so forth. So we wanted to make sure that folks knew that, and so we'll be ready to welcome some of our seniors back beginning on Monday. They will continue to do the checking on the seniors, the folks that we have, and also providing for the meals and so forth that we've been doing all along during the pandemic. So, but if we'll go to the first slide there, please. This is a slide from, as you know, from the groundbreaking out at the skate park. It was a beautiful day, and we all got a little bit of exercise in that day in the sunshine. It's a great start to another amenity to Denny Dobbs Park out there. We've got some information on COVID, some updates as it stands right now. Unfortunately, in our county, we've had a total of 228 deaths since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. But our increases have slowed down to newly confirmed cases were 0.9% over the last week. And you can see in there the, go on next slide, please. The breakout by age and also ethnicity. And next slide, please. This is a vaccination slide. Now, one of the important things as you look at this, when you spend a little time digesting it, one of the important things to remember is that this is a snapshot, but it also is a representative of the number of vaccines that have been given from the Gwinnett Newton Rockdale Health Department, and a lot of, as the case is all over the state, people from other areas are receiving vaccinations in our health district. And so it's, you really can't take a look at this and say this percentage of the citizens of Newton County have been vaccinated. That doesn't really reflect that information. CDC actually, I believe, has that information. But it does give you an indication of how many vaccines have been issued so far. And as every week goes by, those are getting more and more available, and the state is opening up more and more of the vaccines, and more of the tiers that were originally developed have been open for more citizens. So, and like I say, you can, as you look through there, you'll see it's a mix of all of the vaccines. Even some of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines have been distributed, and so, and we encourage everybody to get vaccines. Because it is, the more people that have it, obviously, we'll get to that herd immunity, as they say. Next slide, please. Here's a snapshot. This is Gwinnett. This is a one that was singled out in the East Metro report, and it just has a comparison of the demographics in the East Metro versus the rest of the United States. And I'll let you read that at your leisure there. Next slide, please, Ryan. You can get, and if you need to get it, you can still contact the GNR Health Department, and you can see they're provided there with the websites. Also, you can go to the Department of Health, Georgia Department of Public Health. I am, there is a mass vaccinations, 2 mass vaccination sites in our district, which one is I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. There's one at the Sears in Duluth. It's up at the old Gwinnett Place Mall. The other one is Springfield Baptist Church, which is right down the road here off of I-20, that you can go to. There are other places that are available. We are working with the health department to see about opening a mass site right here in the county so that it'll be more available to everybody. We'll have more details on that as all of that comes together. And there's something we wanted to mention too in conjunction with this. I got this in an email yesterday actually, and this is the Georgia Rental Assistance Program. This is part of the 2021 Relief Act. This is a part of the program that the Biden administration has put into place there was, as you can see, $552 million was given to the state of Georgia to provide funding for those people who are in need to help them get paid up on their back rent, as also their utilities. And this program is being managed and is being done by the Department of Community Affairs. And so if there are those people who are in a situation where they have that need, they would need to contact the Department of Community Affairs, and we'll have the contact information up on our website, the addresses and email and web address, as well as any phone information that they have. This program would help someone to pay either utilities or back rent or both for a period of up to 12 months or $15,000. So it would be quite a great benefit. There are a lot of people who still are out of work, and so would be a benefit to those. The other thing that I wanted to mention to everybody, and this was brought out during our retreat, Mr. Shepard, Reverend Shepard brought this out, that FEMA does provide for funeral assistance for victims of COVID-19. And here is a phone number that if there is anybody who has had a loved one pass away because of COVID-19, there was not a lot of information about criteria for eligibility, but you can find out by calling the 1844 number here, and they'll begin taking those applications on, as it says here, April the 12th. So we just wanted to provide that information to everybody in the event that there are those people who needed those things immediately, and those are things that could be they could avail themselves of right away. The state has already received some of their money from the 2021 Relief Act. We still have not received any information from the Treasury Department, nor has ACCG or NACO, on guidelines for eligible expenses or reporting requirements and so forth. So we are still waiting to get those guidelines from them, and hopefully they'll be coming. We anticipate we should have an answer on all of that any time now. So that's a national issue. So anyway, that concludes my report for today. Thank you.
Lord, would the senior center be open on the day we have our makeup retreat, right?
I'm sorry?
The senior center will be open on the day that we have our makeup retreat.
It'll be open on the yes, but we've made arrangements that we're going to be using that room.
Okay.
So
okay, all right, thanks. Yeah. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a question. I think I asked you last county commission, not this, but the last one, and the question was that with the tax commissioner, it was my understanding that our new tax commissioner set up accounts, and that there was nothing, I guess, said about the old accounts that were set up, or what are they in the old accounts, and where is that money, or how much debt is there, and if there is any debt or any tax owed, then how will we collect those taxes? And I had asked that question, I never get an answer, so I was trying to, you refresh your memory, or hopefully you give me an answer.
the tax commissioner's office sent out a letter today, and it was sent to all. You all were copied on all of it as well. Essentially, what his letter said was that essentially he's saying that he was not provided with any reports. However, he does have, the current tax commissioner had access and still has access to any of those accounts. I'll let, I don't have the letter in front of me, but, you know, obviously if you need to get a hard copy, we can provide you with that copy. But, all of that information, his position on that is in that letter. But any money that was there is still there. As far as uncollected taxes, I'm going to assume that their program, their software program, would be able to generate a report pretty easily on what was still owed and what was not owed. But that would be for the tax commissioner to provide. He's not provided those. So.
Correct. If I may, since maybe some of the people didn't get the letter, he said on the first day of my administration, we gathered data to complete December's disbursement. These collections offered before I took office and should have been accounted for by my predecessor. The administration is currently recounting monies collected since January 1st back to the accounts created per recommendations at newly elected tax commissioners training on Georgia law, and outgoing tax commissioner must deliver the incoming tax commissioner a list of the uncollected tax being left behind. I did not receive a list of uncollected taxes nor a closeout audit. A part of the closeout audit, all funds in the predecessor's account should have shown the owners of such funds, ensuring that all funds were accounted for and credited to the proper accounts. In summary, this provision previous administration has the role, responsibility to address all concerns related to the back account, which Commissioner Henderson had mentioned in the meeting, and that was in the last meeting. And it's my understanding that the young lady that was doing it works in your office, and so if I could get a copy of or work for you somewhere in your office, almost said directly in your office, if I could get some kind of accounting of that, because I think it's very important. I know for me as a taxpayer in the citizens of Newton County, that every cent be accounted for in the uncollected amount of money.
Well, she does work in the finance department, but she no longer has any access to any of the tax commissioner's documents. So any information would have to come out of the tax commissioner's office.
Well, I guess, and I don't make it, I'm trying to not get into a debate. Then how is it you could be in the office, then you leave it, and then nobody has no records, according to Marcus, the tax commissioner. He has no records prior to that and him starting. And there's got to be some kind of accountability from somebody as far as where the money is, the uncollected taxes are.
I believe that there, and I don't know and I'm not arguing one way or the other, but I'm going to make an assumption, just like any financial software, that financial software should have the ability to provide the current tax commissioner with any information that he needs. Now, if there was a failure to provide him with a paper copy, that information still is there. I would think there was never, my understanding, I'm making some assumptions here because I don't know, but my assumption is that all of that information was there. Now, if she didn't run off copies to give to the tax commissioner, I can't speak to, I really can't speak to that. I really can't speak to much of this. This is really an issue that for the tax commissioner. But as the former tax commissioner, I would say she does not have and would not have access to that, should not have access to any of that software or that program that would have all that information, that the current tax commissioner would have all of that.
Well, I'm just saying this. I would like to have a copy, since it's very easily available, tomorrow.
And
Would you,
he-
would you be so kind to give it to me?
I think the place to get it would be to go to the tax commissioner and request that information.
That's the reason why he gave me this letter. That's why he gave us the letter, because he's saying that he don't know where it's at. And somebody should know.
Right, but I couldn't help you with that either, Commissioner, because I have no authority at the tax commissioner's office, and I think if I went to the tax commissioner and said, how about letting the former tax commissioner in here into your software,
I understand.
I don't believe he would allow that, and,
I
nor
understand.
should he.
I
But I
understand.
don't think that I can't fathom that he would not have information and all of the historical data and documents for that office from the time that we started. So I'm not sure. I think what he's saying here is, it appears to me that what he's saying is nobody gave him a list of stuff. But I don't think he's saying that it's not available. I think he should be able to pull that.
So I guess I'm asking the county attorney, would you be so kind as to gather the information and make?
I'm preparing an email to
Yeah.
Ms. Darby right now as we speak.
So that
Thank you, Lord.
it won't be any confusion, because I don't think she's gonna have legally, if she have access to that, that's an issue. So she shouldn't really have access to it legally now. So I think we need to do an open record request to get the information that you're requesting.
Mr. Chairman, just if I may.
Yes, sir.
Just think about what I just asked for.
Yeah.
It's for the count for the monies of what's owed by certain tax people, people who own property. Where is it at and how much? I mean, that's not a complicated question. Somebody got to have that, and we need to know it.
Oh, no, I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying legally, there's no way that she can get back in the system. So I think we need to do an open record request to get that information that you're looking for. Yes, sir. Next is the consent agenda. Is that, you done, Ms. Kerr?
Yes, sir, I'm
You
done.
done?
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
Next is the consent agenda. I seek a motion that we approve it, please. Okay. Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason? Aye. Thank you, sir. It passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is item number 10. Parks and Recreation seeks permission to dedicate the Miracle Field Pavilion in the memory of Mr. Stanley Edwards, Sr. Mr. Kerr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I'm going to ask our Parks and Rec Director, Dwayne, if you would come down and speak to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I appreciate y'all's time.
Good evening.
I'm here kind of on behalf of the Miracle League Board tonight. The Miracle League Board is asking for the board's approval to dedicate the pavilion at the Miracle League Field at City Pond in memory of Mr. Stanley Edwards, Sr. Mr. Stanley was an original member of the Rec Commission, not the Rec Commission, I'm sorry, the Miracle League Board. And when Mr. Stanley passed, he was actually the acting chairman. Mr. Stanley, he worked hard getting the Miracle League project off the ground. But not only that, Mr. Stanley supported Parks and Rec through the years. His wife, Miss Mary, has sung the national anthem for every World Series we've done, but he's always supported the youth of this community. So the Miracle League Board is asking for y'all's approval to move forward with the dedication of the pavilion.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners? Commissioner Henderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion as described by Mr. Wayne for Mr.
Mass.
Mr. Mass. Okay.
Can I get a second, please? Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Henderson and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? Any discussion? Oh, Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dwayne, thank you. I appreciate that. My dad was actually a member of the original rec board in this community too. So not only was he a member of the Miracle League board, he was a member of that board as well. And I know for a fact he spent countless hours, days, and across multiple years working for these special athletes, and he wanted them to have the same opportunity that the rest of everybody else in the community had, all the other youth in the community had. So I think it's a wonderful gesture, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next is Public Works requesting approval by the BOC to award the contract to Vergas and Salcedo Construction to replace 2,250 linear feet of 4-inch and 80 linear feet of 5-inch concrete sidewalks in various locations in Riverwalk Farm subdivisions. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all may know, Riverwalk Farms was developed about 20 years ago. And when that subdivision was developed, there was a planting strip between the sidewalk and the curb. And they planted oak trees in the planting strip. And so now, 20 years later, all of the oak trees have grown and they've broken up quite a bit of the curbing. So this contract is to repair those that concrete sidewalk where those trees have broken the curbing up. Tony Wright, our assistant transportation engineer, is here tonight to answer questions for you as well if you have any. So.
Okay. Commissioner, y'all have any questions tonight? No? Okay. I'll seek a motion, please. No, ma'am. I seek a motion, please. 5. Can I get a second, please? Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Cowan and second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. It passes 5-0. Next is Public Works requesting approval by the BOC to award a contract to Above All Tree Service to remove 100 trees and grind 100 stumps in various locations in Riverwalk Farm subdivision. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This contract is for the removal of an additional 100 trees that have been planted to remove those trees before they become a problem and to grind the stumps, and the total on the contract, the winning bid was $35,000. And I apologize for the benefit of the public. The winning bid on the sidewalk construction was $36,115.
Commissioner Cowan. Thank you, sir. It's been motioned by Commissioner Cowan and second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question is, was the county's purchasing policy followed when we awarded this contract?
Yes, sir, it was. We did put it out for bid. We did receive 3 bids on this particular project. The other project, we only had 2 bids on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. It passes 5-0. Next, Public Works requesting approval by the BOC to apply for 2021 LMIG Safety Action Plan SAP grant for $171,600 for new signs and scripting on Brown Bridge striping on Brown Bridge Road and at Colby Road. Mr. Kerr.
This is a state-sponsored a safety grant. It does have a 30% match. Our match is $51,700, I believe. I am going to ask if Tony Wright will come up to maybe talk a little bit about all of the safety items that this will encompass along Brown Bridge, because that road in particular is in need of some extra striping and signage and so forth. So, Tony, maybe if you would come up and tell the board a little bit more about this project.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The SAP LMIG plan, the Safety Action Plan, is a grant offered by GDOT to improve safety measures along the roadway. There may include striping, RPMs, signage, make sure all the signage have reflectivity.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Commissioners?
Chair, can I make a quick comment?
Yeah, hold on one second. Go ahead, Commissioner Mason.
I just wanted to say that I'm excited to see that we have a grant to help with some of our road projects. And I would love to see more of this in the future to kind of help with some of the roads that we need taken care of or repaired. So I just wanted to say I was definitely glad to see that we found a grant to actually help assist us with this, and I would love to see more grant dollars to be able to kind of help with some of our LMIG, if possible. Start looking for some of those. I just wanted to say thank you for this coming up on the agenda tonight.
Thank you, sir. Any more discussion? Commissioner Sanders.
What area of Brown Bridge is it covering? I see that.
Because it's in two districts. Can you kind of explain which area of Brown Bridge Road this is going to hit?
It's going to be, a total of 9.34 miles. I'm not sure if that's the whole thing or for a certain portion, but
It's going to,
excuse me. I'm not sure.
well, it's going to be 9 miles on
Yeah,
Brown
that's
Bridge
about
Road.
all
That's,
Brown Bridge.
I mean,
It's
that's all.
9.34.
That's 3, 4, and 2. So whichever one of you guys want to make a motion. But can I ask a question before you make a motion? Mr. Kerr.
Yes.
What's that road over there by the bypass that go past the fire station? Is that Flat Shoals?
It's not Flat Shoals Road?
Yeah, that is Flat Shoals. So are we gonna do that day? The ending of that, I think that's the end of 4, beginning of 5. Well, where it's dark at right there.
The portion between the bypass and the bridge over Dry Indian Creek was resurfaced last year, Tony, or a year before. And the portion between that, the bridge and Highway 36, I believe, is on the LMIG list for this year.
Yes, that's one of the, it was a servicing contract that
Mhm.
was presented, so it's going to be contract resurfacing.
Okay.
So they're gonna scrape that portion also?
Right. Once
Okay.
that portion's resurfaced,
Okay.
we'll restripe
Okay,
it.
I got you.
And that's going to be done this year.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to approve as stated by the county manager.
So, thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Henderson and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any more discussion? Commissioner Henderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you get to the bridge on Brown Bridge Road, there was like a speed detector that would tell you if you're going around that curve, it would flash you and say you're going too fast, similar to the one that we have over there on Monticello Jackson Highway here in Covington. And I noticed in my passing for about the past year, it's still down. And I wonder if we'll be able to, I'm sorry, we'll be able to put it back up at some point, because I had worked so hard to have that place there, because there was about 3 people going around the curve, had ran off the curve and had killed themselves. And so,
They did take, Chester did take a look at that, and I'm trying to remember what the issue was, Commissioner. I'll talk with him as soon as he gets back from vacation. Do you remember, Tony, what, you know, it was a blinking signal right there where there's where the elementary school and the the STEM school is, and it was damaged. Somebody ran over it, knocked it down, and I remember that there was, I can't remember why it was not replaced, but I'll find out for you, find out what's going on with it.
thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Commissioner Cowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this going to be, the striping going to be after the widening of Brown Bridge Road, or is this another parcel beyond?
No,
South Road?
this striping is going to be done now. I mean, whatever's with this grant, this would be done now. The project to do the widening of Brown Bridge Road, assuming we get the money to do it, you know, we're looking at least 2 to 3 years to do engineering, right-of-way acquisition before we ever break any ground on it. So, and it's in need of it now, so we need to go ahead and do it. Some of it will need to be, it's obviously going to need to be redone once we do that project. But currently at this point, we've got money to do the preliminary design work, but we don't have the money to do the project, to do the widening on the project, if I remember correctly. We know we're going to need to do Brown Bridge from Crowell to Salem, to do a 3-lane cross-section would be around 17 million, and so we don't have that project funded. Originally the first part of that, which would have been from Crowell Road to Jack Neely, was going to be about 8 million, and that's what we originally applied for some of the preliminary for the study, the feasibility study, and some of the preliminary engineering, and we got that. I'm pretty sure we got that grant, and that will put us in line to get the grant for the other section, to get the preliminary and do the feasibility on that part. But we don't have it funded.
Okay, I'm kind of like JC. Exactly where is the striping going to be done?
On Brown Bridge?
Yeah.
It looks like it's the entire length of Brown Bridge. It's over 9 miles, so that's.
So it'll be from here all the way to the county line?
It would, yes. It would be from city limits to the county line, yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to cover the District 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tony.
Next, item 14, discussion and consideration of lease agreement for General Mills water tank, E911. Mr. Kerr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This lease agreement is to use the City of Covington's water tower. It's located over near General Mills. There is, and this is so that we can mount antenna array and communications devices on that water tank. There'll be no fee for us to do that since it's for public safety.
Thank you. I seek a motion, please. Thank you.
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Cowan. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Passed 5-0. Next, discussion, consideration of Rocky Plains site lease agreement. Mr. Kerr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is another tower site, and it's actually one that belongs to Snapping Shoals and in the Rocky Plains area, and we're going to be using that for the 911 communication system as well. And there is no lease fee for this site either because of the fact that it's going to be used for 911 communications.
Thank you, sir. Let's take a motion, please. Thank you, sir. Can I get a second? Second. It's been motioned by Commissioner Henderson and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you. That passes 5-0. Next, discussion consideration of Snapping Shoals site lease agreement. Mr. Kerr?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, this is a tower site that is located at the Snapping Shoals office area down off of Brown Bridge Road at their office site there. And again, we're going to be locating communications equipment there, and this agreement is with Snapping Shoals, and there are no lease fees attached to this agreement since it's for public safety and 911.
Thank you. I think that's District 2. Commissioner Mason,
Yes, sir, it is.
you want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the site lease agreement with Snapping Shoals.
Can you get a second, please? Second. Thank you. It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Next is discussion and consideration of lease agreement with Snappy Shoals for Fairview Park lighting. Mr. Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This actually is for leasing the lighting for security lighting to be placed at Fairview Park. However, I would like to request that we table this until our next meeting. It was brought to my attention that we had not submitted this to Gerard and Davis for attorney for legal review. And Sam Van Valkenburg had seen this on the agenda and had sent me a few comments on about the lease that he felt like we needed to address before we entered into the lease. So I would like to just postpone this until our next meeting so that we can get those items cleared up.
To our next meeting, April 20th. Thank you. Commissioner Sanders?
I move per the county manager to table this for our next meeting on April 20th to get all the information required by our attorney.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please? Thank you. It was a motion to table by Commissioner Sanders and second by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion? I'm sorry. You got some? You said something, Commissioner? All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Mason?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Motion that we table. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is citizen comments. This opportunity that we allow citizens to come up and make comments. You have 3 minutes to do so. You may come up and state your name and your address for the record, please.
Good evening, Commissioners and everyone. My name is Susan Jackson. I live at 110 Wisteria Boulevard. I don't know if this is a comment. I just had a question about the Fairviews, the subdivision that for the curbs and the trees. I was wondering why that was a county issue when it's located in, I don't know if I could ask a question. Is it appropriate to ask a question?
You can. He'll answer it shortly. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I just wanted to know if, why that was a county issue. And I wanted to know, because I actually loved that subdivision, was going to move there and didn't. And my question is, wouldn't it be common sense not to plant oak trees in that strip? And when I rode through there, more so than they need curbing, those roads are really bad. They need to be paved in there. I would, suggest, paving the roads. And how did that mistake happen? Who didn't have common sense not to plant oak trees in that strip, knowing that oak trees grow?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Citizen comments? Yes, ma'am. You can come up now. Good evening.
I am a resident of the Hanley Mill subdivision, which is outside of the city limits, I've been told. I have,
Can you state your name and your address, please?
oh, sure, Nikki Church, 105 Ascot.
What's your
Trace.
name again?
Nikki Church, 105 Ascot Trace, Covington.
Thank you.
So I live in the Hanley Mill subdivision. I've been living there for about 3 years. My husband and I relocated from Pennsylvania. We waited 2 years. We hunted for our home. We found one that we really enjoy living in. However, once they started to bring in other builders and build other homes, and some of those homes are now being rented out, we started to have problems. Primarily, we have issues with ATV, people riding them on the paved surfaces, even though we have signs there, but the signs are so ambiguous, it doesn't literally say ATVs are not allowed. It says commercial vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. We also have issues with tremendously loud playing music to homes in particular, with car radios. Literally, the house is vibrating, my home, from the sound of the bass of the radio vehicles in the cars. We contacted the police with the ATVs. They're not really that keen on coming. It take them anywhere from an hour, 2 hours. They have to catch them in action. It's a no-win situation. So what we're looking to see is if we can get either additional signs that specifically state no ATVs allowed. Today I have video. I have another neighbor that has video. It's dangerous. We had 3 people riding them today, 3 different sets of people riding them today. The noise level is entirely a violation of the Code of Ordinance for the noise ordinance. I've read it. The sound from the radio cars, the sounds from the ATVs, it is so ridiculously loud. I mean, it's just unbearable, unbearable. I work from home because of COVID. There are other people that work from home because of COVID. Literally, they can ride them for 3 hours. There's clay on the surface of the front yards, kicking up all kind of clay issues, polluting the environment, not to mention, again, the noise, the ordinance that is being violated. It's a serious problem. We need help because, again, the police and the sheriff, they're out doing more important jobs. We get it, but we have to have someone help us with this. It's getting worse, and the more it goes unchecked, we're noticing more people are coming in and riding the ATVs now because they can get away with it. We need somebody to help us keep our neighborhood, which is a great neighborhood to live in, our subdivision, from becoming a really bad place to live. And that's where it's headed right now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. What's the name of your subdivision again?
Hanley Mills. It's off of 212.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's probably, Hammond Mills, I think it's District, District 1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Brown. I'm at 25 Rockwood Court. I want to ditto what the young lady said just now. That exact thing is going on in Overlook Pass and Summerwalk. I'm having the exact same problem. I've been reporting, and like she said, you have to catch them in action. Another thing I'm having a problem with is Kirkland Road and Salem Road. Signs. There's on Old Concord, where Old Concord comes across to Salem. It's not a dangerous area to go get the sign. There's 2 gas stations right here. This is Salem, Concord, and then this would turn into Kirkland coming across. Right in that corner, there's a post. There's all kinds of signs. I sell diabetes equipment. I sell mobile homes. I will buy your house. I will sell your house. All around the pole. Then on this corner, coming down Salem to where Kirkland is, there's that one sign that you've seen everywhere. It's handwritten. It's 3 or 4 signs on each tree coming down the road in the turn. On that curve or that side, that used to be residential. And I think I wrote this to code enforcement this week and last week and last year and the year before that, letting them know that that curb needs to be manicured. That used to be a residential corner, and then they demolished the houses there, and it just overgrew. So now that it's overgrown, they're trying to say that it's just, overgrown property, so it stays as it is. It is not. It needs to be manicured because it's a major intersection. Yes, I do know that Salem Road is going to be widened, but it's not widened yet. And I want to live in a nice, beautiful place that looks like Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean? Every Chick-fil-A you've ever gone to is well manicured. Everywhere, all over the world. I want our area to look like that. In the Kroger's Plaza on Kirkland Road, signs. And there's one of them, only one sign, that's really, really high up on the pole because people back their trucks up 2, 3 in the morning and put the sign up high so they can still get their advertising on. But the other ones are like eye level, and they can just be pulled off. And I've been writing letters to code enforcement. I've done my due diligence the correct way. I've done everything I'm supposed to do correctly. I've written letters to Lloyd, all of the code enforcement, Alana, all of you. I've done it. Still the signs remain. Still the trash is there. Still the area's not cut. And on and on and on. And so I don't know what else to do as well. So please help me too. Overlook Pass, Summer Walk.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
It's the first time, I don't know how this works. My name is Nikisha Titus. I live at 45 Hanley Mill Drive and unincorporated Newton County. I live in the same subdivision with Miss Nikki. So the issue that we're having is the ATV and also illegal dumping. The subdivision is not fully developed, so we have spaces in the back where people would just drive in and dump tires, furniture, stuff like that. The ATV is really becoming a problem. I work from home right now because I have health issues and I can't go to work because of the COVID. So Friday night they were out. We have no light, no street light, no nothing out there. It's just pitch dark. They were driving 9, 10 o'clock at night. They started again Saturday morning. I know I've called court enforcement. Nobody returned my phone calls. I've called the sheriff's office, but what they said is they have to come and catch them. So I've started recording also, so I have that when they come. But when the cops take 30 minutes or 3 hours to respond, the kids are already finished, enjoying, having a good time. And so the grass, the pavement, everything is being torn up because they're just doing it. And it's not just one, because they're doing it and nobody's holding them accountable. Now the other neighbors are doing it, this one is doing it, that one is doing it. So it's really becoming a problem. And I have called several times and nothing has been done. So we need help. I know we live way out there in the country, but still we're part of the county and we need to be taken care of also.
Thank you. What's your name again, ma'am?
It's Nikisha Titus.
What, can you say it one more time? Nikki?
Nikisha Titus, Titus.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Frederick Johnson. I live at 1036 Highway 162 in District 2. A few years ago, I think the board, taxpayers had voted for District 2 District 5, that is, to receive a park. We still ain't got that park yet. So, Mr. Cowan, continue working on that. Okay, look like we're sending all the money, over District 2, which I live in District 2. The Denny Dodge Park. I mean, good Lord. I mean, I live on 162. If I want to go to the park, I mean, I might as well just come here to Covington. You know, it look like we're just putting everything out there. And with the building going on. The building over on Lovers Lane Road, look like they're putting up about 2 houses a week, maybe 3 houses a week going in that subdivision. They're also building like crazy down across Wellington Oaks on 162. And that traffic is horrendous. Sometimes it takes me 5 to 7 minutes to get out of my driveway. I know you don't have anything to do with the state road, but you should have some kind of influence. Let's try to get the traffic, you know, slowed down a little bit around Good Hope Baptist Church and the Spring Hill community. If any way possible y'all can do that, then we would appreciate it. We have a clubhouse, community center there at Spring Hill Church. We've been trying to work on that, and if we can't get a park, at least help us out with that building, so at least the people can use it for meetings or whatever, you know. So if y'all do that, just help us out just a little bit. I certainly would appreciate it, and of course the people in District 2 and District 5 would appreciate that also. Just like I think my cousin had came here several years ago, and they said that it looked like all we got is just a dump. So that's what we got as a dump out there, a landfill. So don't look like we can get anything else but that. So just help us out.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Anyone else? Mr. Kerr, you want to, Lord, Mr. Kerr, you want to answer a couple of questions before I do this, before we get commissioner comments? Did you want to answer the question, or you want to wait till after the board meeting? You want to wait till after the board meeting to answer her question? You want to talk to her after the board meeting? Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir, that's fine. I didn't get the name of the subdivision, so. Are you talking about the lady who talked about the ATVs?
The Riverwalk.
Oh, Riverwalk, yeah, that's fine. I'll be glad to, sure.
Okay. So we'll do it after, he answered your questions after the board meeting. Commissioner, why you like you jumping at the bed? Commissioner Cowan, go ahead.
You wouldn't let me say nothing a while ago.
Huh?
You wouldn't let me say anything a while ago.
It's your time now, brother. You got 4 minutes.
Ms. Johnson, we are working on that. Matter of fact, there was some developments this past week, so I'm just letting you know we have not forgot about that. Don't call me yet. Let me get a few more things worked out. So, but that's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to like we talk a little, I call it sideboard when you reach over and say something to somebody. If the Spring Hill community wants to meet with Commissioner Calvin, if he would, come over to Nelson Heights Community Center, pick out a date during the week and come over and hopefully can kind of get together and hash it out. Because I think there's not a deserving community than Spring Hill to have a nice park or a community center. I just have just a few words within my 4 minutes. The forensic audit, that was something that really just kind of laid in my mind and my heart. The only meeting that I missed out of all those years, 20-some years, was that meeting, and they told the whole pack of non-truths. But I didn't care because it was my son. He was in a coma. And all we could do was pray and ask God if he would bring him through. Glory be to God, he came through. That was very difficult. And then you see the headlines in the paper that like I had stole something. I've never stolen nothing from anybody. And everything that I got my entire life, don't have that much, but I worked like hell to get it. And I cherish it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Commissioner Mason. You have any comments?
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to make sure that the 2 citizens that came up, I believe Hanley Mill was their subdivision. I think it was off of 212. That should be in District 2. So I wanted to make sure that they got, both of those young ladies got one of my business cards, so that I can have a follow-up conversation with them to kind of understand a little bit more what it is specifically that they're talking about, and I'll do my best to assist them. And I want to tell them that I apologize that they are experiencing that. I'm definitely sorry about that, but I'll do my best to work with them to kind of try to help us resolve that matter. I will contact Mr. Johnson as well about the traffic on 162. I know that has been an issue. So I definitely want to work with him and the part of the District 2 community that's off of 162 to try to help resolve that. I have some ideas. And so I want to kind of work with him and whomever else in that area in District 2 to kind of help resolve some of those matters. And I'm glad that Commissioner Cowan actually did address Spring Hill. I know that Commissioner Cowan talked about getting our project manager on board to kind of help working with us with a plan for Spring Hill. I'm also open to helping Commissioner Henderson because I know that some of the District 2 citizens will benefit from that Spring Hill project as well. So I'm definitely open to working with Commissioner Cowan, our project manager, the citizens in that Spring Hill community to kind of come up with something where a project where we can go ahead and get that solidified for them as well. And I enjoyed seeing you all from YouTube. And missed you guys, and we'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your trip. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, to the young ladies that came up and spoke about the ATVs, it's been a problem. I've been a commissioner a little over 4 years, and it's been a problem the entire 4 years. It seems to be especially a problem. The problem is compounded by the fact that sometimes there are power lines nearby, and they like to ride across the power lines, and then they go through the subdivisions, and it's a problem. I believe we as commissioners have got to come together and do something to try to solve this aggressively. It's going to have to be law enforcement, signage, and citizens taking responsibility themselves for their own actions. So I believe we owe it to the citizens. I've got subdivision after subdivision after subdivision in District 1 suffering from the same problems. That's got to be addressed, and I just don't know how we do it. So, Lloyd and Mr. Chairman, I would ask that you guys put some type of summit together. Maybe let's put our heads together and come up with something with law enforcement. Secondly, Lloyd, pass out along our thanks to the trash detail. Let me tell you, they finally got outdoor in my neck of the woods, and it is so much better. It is a lot better. Tell them we appreciate that so much. And then lastly, I went to walk at Beaver Park this morning, and there's 7 of those lights, Dwayne, that are along the woods that are just out. It gets real dark over there if in the wee hours of the morning. So they're probably all in the same circuit right there. So something's up over there. I don't know what it is. Just FYI. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards stole some of my thunder, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna re-say it because it's just that important. Thank the county manager and his board for supporting the initiative to pick up this trash cleanup. You guys wouldn't believe how many calls I'm getting thanking the board for actually supporting this. So guys, I appreciate it, and the citizens of Newton County appreciate it as well. Thank you, sir. Also, I definitely need to say this. When I got elected in 2016, while I was campaigning, I think Commissioner Henderson's son had an accident on a four-wheeler. If I'm not mistaken, it was a four-wheeler. And, I remember going up praying with him, and me and a good friend, Forrest Sawyer, I remember us going up, spending time with Commissioner Henderson. And Commissioner Henderson never did, I'm just going to be honest, he never did say anything about the forensic audit while I was there. But when I took office, he did say he did ask that he wanted his name cleared. And I think last week, when he got those paperbacks, I think that pretty much cleared his name. So I'm happy for him that he has that behind him. And I want to take this opportunity also to encourage this board to keep working together. Please don't let the One Newton initiative lapse. We want to keep pushing One Newton. We will keep pushing One Newton throughout the community. That's what we stand for. That's what we believe in. That's what our strategic plan is. So anytime you get a chance, guys, please push the One Newton initiatives. Is there a need for executive session tonight? There's no need for executive session tonight. I seek a motion that we adjourn. It's motion by Commissioner Henderson, I think, and second by Commissioner. All in favor? Thank you. Commissioner Mason?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Guys, we are adjourned.